Hello, I'm Cindy Brannon, and I am going to be talking a bit about what initiation is. I'm recording this on September the 11th. It is a beautiful early fall day here, and I've been getting lots and lots of comments, both from kind of people who have read my book and so comments through Facebook and the contact form on the website and Instagram and just about everywhere. A lot of comments and questions about initiation. And this is because, at least partly, because a lot of you who've read my book, so thank you so much for purchasing Keeping Her Keys, an introduction to Hekate's Modern Witchcraft. So many of you have completed all of the lessons of the book. So you're at that natural culmination where a ceremony of initiation marks your accomplishment. And it is something to be so proud of. You know, the 13 lessons in the book are challenging. They are a mixture of ancient history and modern psychology with witchcraft woven through everything as an exploration of the goddess Hekate. So if you're at that point now that you've reached the end of the book and you're doing initiation, congratulations. May Hecate's torches continue to shine for you. As they will, you just keep following them and see all those glorious keys that she'll give you. Some of those will be new keys that you'll be claiming for the first time. Some of those will be soul keys that she's been safeguarding for you in her role as psychopomp, guardian of souls, as you'll get deeper and deeper into her magic, medicine, and mystery. Initiation is such a sacred process. And there is this tension between the initiation ceremonies we do that come at a culmination of a period of study or an initiation into a coven or another group. In the Keeping Her Keys Coven of Hekate, we have an initiation ceremony that's known as the Nissa ceremony that we do live once a year. And members can do this initiation ceremony at any time of the year they wish. There is a self-directed version where we do it together. You know, I'm on the audio, you're there on your end performing the initiation, and we do it together. So what we do in the Coven is that I bless initiations. And I wanted to kind of kick off this discussion talking about what that means, a blessing of initiation, and what initiation is, I guess, from the Keeping Her Keys perspective. To be clear, I want to say that I believe that only the individual can initiate themselves. I don't believe I have a special power that will grant you knowledge, wisdom, and such. I am a teacher, I am a healer, and I'm an author, and I am a priestess of Hekate. And as a priestess of Hekate, my sacred contract with her is that I show you ways that you can deepen your understanding of Hekate, deepen your understanding of yourself, find wholeness through these practices that I teach. And this is the journey of the sovereign seeker, that when you feel you have finished a period of study or you want to initiate into the Coven, that is your choice, that you have the power. You are the sacred one. That Hekate, as Anima Mundi, is the very essence of the world, of the cosmos. She is the cosmic world soul, mother of witches, great healer, so on and so on. And that all that we can perceive her to be through our limited understanding, of course, lives within us, that there is no separation between Hekate and us. She is the mother of the universe. We are of the universe. We are her children. So that when we get to the point of initiation as a culmination for a period of study, or we're joining a coven, that we are awakening and claiming something that is within us through this affiliation with this program of study or the coven. So I am your facilitator, your priestess, your guide and teacher, but only you have that sacred power to enter into this contract with the goddess that is initiation. It's not something that I can just kind of plunk on your head all of a sudden. What I can do is I can bear witness to your initiation, and I absolutely love doing this. And so in the Keeping Her Keys Coven, we have 3 different periods within the year where I do the blessing of initiation. So all of the initiates, so we have different streams in the coven. So one stream we have is those who have read the book, and they earn the title of a Nodia or guide. And then the students in the Sacred 7 who are called septums. And then we have the students in, the very advanced, I always say it's like graduate school, the graduate school course of the Mistai that are in the title of Mistai. And then we have those who are initiated as an honored member of the coven who earn the title of Nissa. And to become a priestess or another sacred title of your choosing within Keeping Her Keys, the pathway is that you complete either the Sacred 7 or the Mistai and become a mentor. So only mentors have the title of priestess, priest, or other sacred title. We have different titles that are sacred ones that either I've received from Hekate for the student or the student has received. And again, this really illustrates the sacredness of initiation, and getting a sacred name during the initiation process, leading up to it, during the ceremony, in the days and weeks to follow. That this is also an indication that you are connecting deeper to the mysteries. And that is what initiation is. Whether we are doing it in this kind of structured way, or if it is the kind of spontaneous initiation that often happens when we are absolutely without ego, without persona, that we stand as our absolute truth and stop rejecting the goddess, stop rejecting the sacredness within us, stop rejecting our truth. And, those moments of initiation, which is very much an initiation of the heart as opposed to an initiation of the mind, which comes, at the end of a program of study or being initiated into the coven. Of course, there is an interplay, there is a dance between these. But I want to talk about, these 2 basic different sorts of initiation. And the soul-bearing initiation we have, whether we are crying on the bathroom floor, brokenhearted, whether we are just bereft and in a sea of loneliness and despair, and all of a sudden, we swim down to the bottom of the river of upset and distress. We swim to the bottom of the river, and when we get to the bottom of the river, we see the deeper river that's underneath the river of our normal consciousness, and that's the river of Hekate. It is the river, the eternal sacred river. And when we get to that point, we lose all pretense. We are just simply who we are. And in those moments, we are often shattered. And it often takes this kind of shattering to allow us to break free of the chains that bind us. One of Hecate's most enduring and empowering epithets is Rixapile, which means the shatterer, the one who can break chains, the ones who, she's there and she is causing this earthquake, soul quake, and that she can just break free of any fetters that bind us. And again, when we realize that the sacredness of Hekate lives within us, then we see how there isn't this separation. That Hekate Erxapile is the Hekate who abides within us. And because we are made of the same thing that she consists of, and she is the maker of all things, especially witches, that the power is ours. The power is not, it's off on some yonder mountain where if we arrange our altar a certain way or say certain words, that we'll get a boon from this goddess. It's just not true. It's very literalist, and it really denies us this perspective where the gods are over here and we have to do these certain things, and maybe they'll give us a favor or maybe they'll smite us down and ruin our lives. As long as we see this separation, that we truly live in this kind of dichotomous, harsh world where we are not sacred. And initiation requires letting go of that, just putting it down. You may have been raised in a certain faith that taught you that God was up here somewhere, we were down here, God did things, controlled our life, the puppet master, and so on, and that we were original sin, etc., etc. This is not the truth at all. We are sacred. And to have this kind of literalist, reductive understanding of Hekate really limits our ability to practice magic, our ability to behold, our ability to understand the mysteries of it all. As long as we see ourselves as petty little puppets on strings, we miss the whole point of engaging in Hekate, understanding her, and developing a relationship with her. And that's really what initiation does. Whether or not, it comes at the end of a prescriptive program, like with my book or one of my courses, or if it's one of these soul initiations where all of your ego is just shattered and you stand before her in the truth of who you are and, claim those soul keys of yours. And, this is why I teach the three core rituals within the Coven, and there's also public versions of them available. You can listen to them on the podcast. That these are the rituals of the sacred cave, and that true initiation is this journey of wholeness. We can take an initiation at various points along this journey, but the rituals of the sacred cave begin in the fall with the ritual of release, which is why energetically so many of us are called to initiate. We are called to make a commitment. We are called to go deeper at this time of the year. As Hecate's cave opens, Persephone descends into it, and we have all the beautiful mythology of the Persephone story where we see ourselves as Persephones descending into the cave, where the true richness abides. And so we begin with this ritual of release. We move on after a few months to the soul retrieval, claiming back keys that were taken from us or lost along the way. And then we culminate the cycle in May with the rebirth ceremony. And I'm talking about these things in the context of initiation because I really want to emphasize that this is a journey. You know, even when we do an initiation ceremony, there are weeks, perhaps months leading up to it for preparation. And then we do the ceremony. And then there are weeks, often months afterwards, where we have dreams and experiences. There are synchronicities that the medicine of the initiation comes forward to us afterwards. So it is a process, and it is about going deeper into the mystery, and it's also about stopping the frenzy, because just like there is a frenzy, you know, when sometimes when we first realize the Hekate is calling us, that this awakening is happening within us, we can get pretty frenetic. And what we need to hold in that moment is to realize there is a friction. There is a friction between the compulsion, like, I want to learn it all, I want to experience it all, and the necessity to be still in order to learn anything. And there is a friction with initiation as well. You know, there is the, I want to go deeper, I want to go deeper, I want to understand the meaning of it all. I want to see the face of Hekate and see her torches. There is our desire, and then there is what is meant for us. What medicine do we need? So a lot of times we can have these expectations, and going into initiation or any ritual with heavy expectations, I want to see Hekate, I want this to happen, I want that to happen. That is also a great learning of the initiate. It's to set the frenzy aside, to set the expectations aside, and to plan and prepare for the structured ones, and then just to experience the ritual, the ceremony. And it is the same with those spontaneous initiations. And why I believe that these spontaneous initiations, these true come to Hekate moments, are so profound for so many of us. And again, this is based on my analysis of hundreds of counts of these spontaneous initiations, that it is because in those moments we set aside the frenzy and the expectation. We stand, we are there, we are fully there, we are fully in that moment. And that is what the initiate is called to be. That is where the mysteries abide, is when we are fully present, when the busy mind is silenced and we enter into that sacred flow, when we experience what is truly numinous, what is truly of Hekate, and we stand fully in the presence of her cave, and understand that we are whole, we are claiming keys, we are evolving, we are developing, we are not who we were, yet we are calling back things that are ancient parts of ourselves at the same time, and that there is always this tension. You know, there is always this dance of the bardo, of in-betweenness. And when we initiate, it is like we are standing in the heart of the cave, in the cauldron perhaps, being reborn from the cauldron. I teach that ritual as a rebirth ceremony. Or in soul retrieval, we are in the heart of the cave, and we are in the heart of her wheel, and the wheel of time that is Astrophilos pulls all these things back to us. And it is also the moment of release when we first cross into the cave, and we stand there, see the wall of keys that await us. And yet we know we have to lay on the altar all that has been binding us. We have to lay our false beliefs, our loneliness, our heartache, toxic relationships, jobs that don't serve us. We have to be willing to give those things up, to go deeper into her mysteries. And that is why we begin with release. We always begin with the banishment, right? The cleanse, the purification, the miasma must be removed. And that is, the beginning of any ritual, whether it's initiation or otherwise, is the removal. And then we go through the protection and the callback of the sacred flame. The hierosphere of Hekate brings back those pieces of our soul, enlivens and enchants the knowledge we've gained. And then we are rebirth, born through her cauldron. And her cauldron is the mystery. And then we come out as Nissa, the new, or Kore, the maiden, the Puella Aeternis Sacris, the sacred eternal child, where we start the cycle again. So I hope you have found this video, or if you're listening to this on the podcast, if you found this helpful, you can connect with me by going to the Keeping Her Keys website, keepingherkeys.com. And there's a contact form there that you can fill out. And if you're interested in joining the Coven and you're not yet a member, you can learn more about that on the website as well. Blessings of Hekate. Claim your keys, keep your keys, embark on this beautiful mystery of initiation of your own wholeness.